Salim Raza, Mr. Uzair Hanafi, Shahjahan Salahuddin, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I would like to congratulate the sponsors and the organizers for organizing this much needed summit. While I was sitting here, I was thinking somehow my last 2 months have been connected with the Islamic financial products in one way or the other. The whole of Ramadan was obviously very Islamically spent. Then when we came back to the offices on September 5th, on September the 6th, we had a delegation from Iran. Our counterparts from Iran came and visited us. They spent 2 days with us. And we had an opportunity to learn and understand from them how they have been able to develop the capital markets in Iran. And we discussed with them the derivatives market, the debt market, the commodity exchange, etc. Because over there, the entire economy, the entire financial market is based on Islamic principles. Although the interpretation of the scholars in Iran is slightly different than the scholars that we have in our country. Then last week I was in Turkey, and we were there to sign an MOU for collaboration with the Turkish counterpart. And we had another conference in which capital markets of various OIC countries were there. And we had presentation from Pakistan and Turkey, Iran, Malaysia, a number of other countries. And while Malaysian Stock Exchange was making the presentation, I wrote on a notepad to my colleague, and it said, Islamic is the way forward for Pakistan. And it happened just like 5 days ago. So somehow God is ensuring that at SECP we start thinking more and more about the Islamic financial product. I will not go into the details of why we really need it, because I believe in the last 2 days a lot must have been said about the importance and the need. I would rather try to focus on the thinking at our end, the historic role that SECP has played, and the future strategy going forward as far as the development of the Islamic financial market is concerned. But before I start, let me share with you my experience when I was living in the West. And I used to think that Islamic financial market should be one of the easier markets to develop, and I'll tell you why. What I saw over there, a number of our Muslim brothers, they would not take mortgage against houses from the conventional banks. Although the interest rate was 2 to 3%, 4% in US and Canada, they would be happy to borrow at a higher rate as long as it is Islamic mode of financing. So they were willing to pay a higher rate for borrowing, and they were willing to accept a lower rate of deposit. So for a financial intermediary which is able to attract money at a lower rate of deposit and lend at a higher rate to its customers, they cannot be a better business model. So from a conceptual perspective, when I used to think about it, and even now, it should not be very difficult to develop and to create a market based on Islamic principles. However, globally, still it is a very small percentage of the market, overall market, and in Pakistan it is even a smaller percentage than that. Now today, 75 countries around the world and around 250 institutions are involved in various Islamic-based financing products. London and the West has tried to take a lead on that. However, if you look around Pakistan, Malaysia, Bahrain, and now Turkey, and to some extent Iran, these are countries which are trying to position themselves as the centers for Islamic finance in the world. Frankly, Pakistan is not there at the moment. We have around 4 to 5% of our assets in the Islamic mode, around $500 billion, as Mr. Salim Raza said. However, there is an opportunity that we can position ourselves, but before that, we need to think why we haven't been able to do this. And one of the things which I have seen is, since I've taken over SECP, there's no central body which is responsible for creating awareness of the Islamic products in our country. Now at SECP, what we are doing is, we have created a separate team 6 months back called Strategy and Development, and research is an integral part of that. And one of the targets we have given to that team is to create awareness and to conduct education and seminars related to various products, and Islamic finance is one of those. Besides that, we are setting up a separate team which will be looking at developing products with the capital markets, with the NBFC sector, within the AMC, and within the insurance sector. Now, over the last various years, at SECP, our focus has been primarily into mudarbas and to some extent on the takaful. On the takaful, we have been a bit slow because we allowed separate takaful companies and we gave them a 5-year window. And now that 5-year window has expired, so we have to allow traditional companies to start takaful business. We are already a bit late in that. We are expecting that in the next 2 months, we will finalize the rules for the insurance companies to start a takaful window, like conventional banks are allowed to start their Islamic window. So hopefully going forward, from SECP's perspective, you will see a lot more emphasis as far as Islamic products are concerned. On one hand, we are working on the takaful rules. On the other hand, we are talking to the stock exchanges on how to develop more products for the capital markets in terms of debt, equity, derivatives. We're talking to the commodities exchange for developing derivatives for commodities and currencies. And lastly, we are internally studying on how to have a regime for Islamic NBFCs. We do not have a regime for Islamic NBFCs at the moment, and we're looking at that. As far as asset management companies are concerned, they are allowed to float funds based on Islamic principles. And we have talked to MUFAP, and I think there will be more interaction going forward. So going forward, at SECP, you will see a lot more emphasis on Islamic products, because I believe that if our capital markets are very small today and the money is residing primarily in the banking sector, roughly 94% of the deposits are in the banking sector in the country. And one of the ways that we can create competition for that money is by developing capital markets, and one of the ways we can develop the capital markets at a faster pace is by indulging in, by getting involved with Islamic-based products. So that will be the focus going forward. So with these words, thank you very much, all of you. And I agree with Mr. Salim Raza that these conferences should be a regular feature. And at our end, we will try and create awareness, and we intend to coordinate with State Bank, and we will try to create a platform whereby this effort is an ongoing effort rather than a one-off effort. Thank you very much.